The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across my living room as I sat on the edge of my favorite lavender armchair. I could smell the faint aroma of lavender still clinging to the fabric, a scent that reminded me of simpler times, times when my granddaughter Sophie would run into my arms with laughter spilling from her lips. As I gazed out the window, I could see the leaves fluttering on the oak tree outside, their rustling, whispering secrets I was desperate to understand. But the day had come to an abrupt and jarring halt when Jessica, my daughter-in-law, had casually mentioned tossing out Sophie's old blanket. My heart had quickened, a frantic flutter beneath my ribs, as if a bird had taken flight inside me, desperate to escape. The blanket was not just a piece of fabric. It was a tapestry of memories stitched into the very fabric of our family. It had traveled through countless sleepovers, adventures, and the occasional tearful night when Sophie needed comfort. And now, just like that, it was gone. Jessica had stood in the doorway, arms crossed tightly over her chest, a defensive posture that had become far too familiar. "It was just gathering dust, Evelyn. It's time to let go of things that no longer serve a purpose." Her words sliced through the air, sharp and unforgiving, as though I were holding on to an old relic that had lost all meaning. I watched her eyes, darting away from mine, revealing the flicker of something. Guilt, perhaps? Or a fear I couldn't quite place? I wanted to scream, to lash out at her for her insensitivity. Didn't she see that tossing away Sophie's blanket was like tossing away a part of our family's history? But instead, I felt the heat pooling in my cheeks, my hands trembling slightly in my lap. I could feel the familiar swell of frustration rising in my throat, thick and bitter. It was a sensation I had come to know all too well since Jessica had entered our lives. She was practical, yes, but her practicality often felt like a cold wind sweeping through my warm memories. "I don't think you understand," I finally managed to say, forcing my voice to stay steady. "That blanket belonged to Sophie. It was her comfort when she needed it most." I could feel the weight of my words hang in the air, an unyielding truth that I hoped would resonate with her. Jessica's lips pressed together in a thin line, and I could see the muscles in her jaw tense. "I understand perfectly, Evelyn, but sometimes we have to make hard decisions for the sake of moving forward." Her words felt like a chisel, carving a deeper rift between us. I had spent my life preserving our family's legacy, holding on to the little pieces that made us who we were. To her, it seemed, those pieces were merely clutter. I took a deep breath, attempting to steady myself, but the air felt thick, as if I were trying to breathe underwater. The days passed slowly after that, each one a reminder of the growing tension. I watched as Sophie played with her friends, her laughter echoing through the house, yet there was a shadow lurking behind her bright eyes. She missed that blanket, I could tell. And it was my job to help her remember it, to help her understand what it represented. One evening, while Sophie was tucked into bed, I slipped quietly into her room, the moonlight spilling through the window and casting silver patterns on the walls. I peered down at her, her chest rising and falling gently, blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing just beyond her dreams. I reached under the bed, fingers grazing the cool wooden floor until I found a small box I had hidden there, an old keepsake of mine, filled with letters and photographs from years gone by. Inside, wrapped in soft tissue paper, was a small piece of the blanket I had carefully cut away before Jessica's fateful toss. My heart ached as I held it, the fabric still soft and worn, holding the scent of Sophie's childhood, the essence of her innocence. I knew I had to confront Jessica again. I had to understand why she was so quick to discard something that held so much value, not just for me, but for Sophie. The next day, I invited her over for tea, hoping to ease the tension that had settled between us like a dense fog. As we sat across from each other in my kitchen, the air thick with unspoken words, I could feel the tension buzzing like electricity. Jessica stirred her tea absent-mindedly, her gaze fixed on the swirling liquid, and I could see the micro-gestures, her fingers tapping against the porcelain, her foot bouncing slightly beneath the table, signals of her discomfort. "Jessica," I began, my voice softer this time, laden with a mixture of concern and tenderness. "Can we talk about the blanket?" She looked up, surprise flashing in her eyes, and then the walls went back up. "Evelyn, I thought we were past this. It was just a blanket." "Just a blanket?" I echoed, incredulity creeping into my voice. "It was a symbol of love, a connection between generations. You can't just throw that away." Her eyes narrowed, and for a moment, anger flickered across her face. "I don't understand. I'm trying to create a home that feels uncluttered, a safe space for Sophie. She doesn't need things weighing her down." "A home?" I asked, my heart racing at the thought. "Or a facade?" The silence that followed was thick with unspoken truths. I could feel the heat rise in my chest, a mixture of anger and desperation. I wanted to reach across the table and shake her, to make her see how her actions were tearing our family apart. "Why do you feel the need to erase our past, Jessica? What are you afraid of?" For the first time, I saw her walls begin to crack. Tears glistened in her eyes, and I felt a rush of empathy wash over me. "I'm not trying to erase anything," she whispered, her voice trembling. I thought it would help us start fresh. I thought it would make it easier for Sophie." But as I looked into her eyes, I saw the truth lurking just beneath the surface. There was something she wasn't telling me, a secret hidden away like the blanket I had salvaged. "Help me understand," I urged gently, my heart softening. "What are you afraid of losing?" Jessica's breath hitched, and for a fleeting moment, I thought she might open up. But then the moment slipped away, and her defenses returned. "I'm not afraid of losing anything, Evelyn. I'm just trying to do what's best for my family." The tension hung heavy between us, the air thick with unspoken words. I had to know the truth. What lay behind her need to discard not just a blanket, but a piece of our family's legacy? As I sat there, the forgotten keepsake box weighing heavily in my mind, I realized that the answers I sought were not just about the blanket. They were about all of us, our past, our fears, and the hidden truths that could either shatter our family or bind us together in a more profound way. I took a deep breath, the weight of our history pressing down on me like a storm cloud, and I knew I had to dig deeper. I needed to uncover the secrets Jessica held close, the ones that, if revealed, could either fracture our already fragile relationships or weave us back together in a more profound way. As I locked eyes with her, I could see the flicker of vulnerability behind her defiance. I knew then that this was just the beginning, a journey into the depths of family dynamics where love and understanding would either bridge the gap between us or lead us to an inescapable crossroads. I had to tread carefully, for the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, and I could feel the storm brewing just beyond the horizon. The day began like any other, the sun casting warm rays through the kitchen window as I prepared my famous blueberry pancakes, the scent wafting through our little home. I hummed softly, each note a reminder of the joy I found in these simple moments, the way they connected me to my family. But beneath that surface calm lurked a tension, a quiet storm brewing in the back of my mind. It was a Saturday. My son Mark was off running errands, leaving Jessica and Sophie in my care. I had anticipated this day like the arrival of spring after a long winter, but it felt different somehow. Something was off, a slight chill in the air that had nothing to do with the temperature. Jessica appeared in the kitchen, her hair tied back in a tight bun, the kind that always made me think she was preparing for battle. When she looked at me, her eyes were guarded, a wall built between us that had been slowly erected over the years. We exchanged pleasantries, the small talk feeling like a dance we both knew by heart, but neither of us truly enjoyed. I could see Sophie playing on the living room rug, her laughter echoing through the house, a sweet melody that made my heart swell. After breakfast, I felt the urge to take Sophie outside to play, to let her soak in the sunshine and the beauty of childhood. Just as we were about to step out, Jessica called out from the kitchen, her voice sharp enough to cut through the warmth of the day. "Evelyn, can you come here for a moment?" I felt a knot of dread tighten in my stomach as I approached her, a sensation that had become all too familiar over the years. "What is it?" I asked, hoping for anything but the confrontation I could sense brewing. She stood there, arms crossed tightly, lips pressed together in that way she had when she was determined to make a point. "I threw away that old blanket of Sophie's," she said, her tone almost matter-of-fact. My heart dropped, and I struggled to catch my breath, the air suddenly feeling thick and stifling. "What blanket?" "The one you gave her when she was born. It was old, tattered. It was time to let it go." Time to let it go. Those words echoed in my mind like an ominous drumbeat. The blanket was more than just a piece of fabric. It was woven with memories, laughter, tears, and the essence of my love for Sophie. My fingers trembled slightly as I leaned against the doorframe, my body betraying the shock coursing through me. "You didn't think to ask me first?" Jessica's eyes narrowed, the defensiveness creeping in, that familiar battleground forming once again. "It was just a blanket, Evelyn. You're making it into something it's not." A lump formed in my throat, the weight of her dismissal heavy and suffocating. "It was a family heirloom, Jessica. It has stories sewn into it, stories that connect us all. How could you throw it away without a second thought?" Sophie had wandered in, her innocent eyes darting between us, sensing the tension crackling in the air. "What's wrong, Grandma? Why are you upset?" I knelt down to her level, forcing a smile, but the warmth of it felt like a mask slipping. "It's nothing, sweetheart. Just a little misunderstanding." Jessica watched us, her expression unreadable, but I could see the conflict brewing behind her eyes, the tug of war between her desire to assert herself and the weight of my disappointment. "I'm sorry, but I really think it was for the best. That blanket was just a reminder of the past." A reminder of the past. Her words struck me like a slap, and I felt the urge to defend not only the blanket, but the very essence of who we were as a family. "What's wrong with remembering the past? It's what shapes us, Jessica. It's what connects us." Sometimes we need to let go of the past to move forward. Not everything needs to be preserved. Her voice was steady, but laced with an undertone of something else. Fear, perhaps. I stood there, tension coiling around us like a snake ready to strike. Sophie watched, her small face creased with worry. "I liked that blanket, Mommy. Can we get it back?" My heart ached at her words, a tender spot exposed that Jessica seemed blind to. "I'm sure we can find it, sweetheart. We'll look for it together." Jessica's eyes flashed with something unreadable, and I felt my pulse quicken. "It's already gone, Sophie. It's time to move on." I didn't know how to respond. The blanket was gone, but the feelings it stirred in me were not so easily dismissed. It was a tangible link to my late husband, to the days when I cradled my son in my arms, to the laughter we shared as a family. Losing it felt like losing a part of myself, a piece of our history that Jessica seemed determined to erase. I took a deep breath, my chest tightening with each passing moment. "I need to find that blanket, Jessica. It's important to me, to us." She shook her head, eyes hardening. "You're overreacting, Evelyn. It's just a blanket." Just a blanket? The words echoed in my mind, a mantra I struggled to dismiss. I turned away, feeling the heat of frustration rise in my cheeks.
You don't understand. No, you don't understand. You're holding on to things that no longer matter. I felt my hands clench into fists, my nails digging into my palms as I battled the urge to lash out. What matters is understanding our roots, where we came from. It's important for Sophie to know her family history. Jessica's expression softened for a brief moment, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through the armor she wore. I just want to create new memories, Evelyn. I want us to move forward. I could feel the tension in the room, a weight pressing down on my chest, and I could see Sophie looking back and forth between us, a silent plea for resolution. I took a step back, breathing deeply to steady my racing heart. I need to find that blanket, Jessica. It's important to me, to us. As I turned away, I felt the warmth of tears prickling at the corners of my eyes. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to understand. I wanted to bridge the gap that had formed between us, but every attempt seemed to deepen it instead. In the days that followed, I found myself unable to shake the feeling of loss. I knew I had to confront the truth of what that blanket represented, not just for me, but for Sophie. I began to dig through old boxes in the attic, searching for remnants of our family history, pieces that had been tucked away and forgotten. But as I sifted through the memories, I felt the weight of Jessica's dismissal pressing down on me, a constant reminder of the chasm that had formed between us. One evening, as I sat surrounded by a mountain of memories, I stumbled upon an old journal belonging to my late husband. Flipping through the pages, I felt a flood of emotions wash over me. Love, grief, and an aching nostalgia that made my heart ache. There, nestled between the lines, was a story about a blanket he had made for our son as a child. A blanket filled with love and warmth, a blanket that had long since been lost to time. I felt a shiver down my spine as I realized the connections between the past and present, the unbroken thread that tied us together. Perhaps Jessica didn't understand the significance of that blanket, but I was determined to show her. As I prepared to confront her once more, a sense of resolve filled me. I wouldn't let our family history slip away so easily. I would share these stories, these memories, and remind her that our roots were just as important as the new memories we were to create. The tension in our home was palpable as I approached Jessica later that evening. "Can we talk?" I asked, my voice steady despite the flutter of nerves in my stomach. She looked up, hesitant but curious, and I could see the walls she had built beginning to crack. About what? About the blanket, and about our family history, what it means, and why it matters. A moment of silence passed between us, heavy with unspoken words. Before she nodded, her eyes softening just a fraction. As I recounted the stories held within those layers of fabric, I watched her expression shift, the realization dawning slowly. I could feel the tension begin to ease, a fragile thread of understanding weaving its way between us. But just as I thought we were making progress, I noticed a flicker of something in her eyes. Fear, perhaps? As if she were grappling with her own insecurities. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past pressing against my chest, the moment teetering on the brink of something significant. "Jessica, I know you want to create new memories. I do too, but we can't forget the stories that shaped us. They're part of who we are." She looked down, a slight tremor in her hands betraying her inner turmoil. "I just thought..." "Thought what?" I asked, my heart racing, desperate to bridge this gap. "I thought it would be easier to start fresh, to not be weighed down by the past, but maybe..." "Maybe what?" But before she could answer, the door creaked open and Sophie appeared, her innocent presence pulling us back from the brink of revelation. "Can we play a game?" The moment hung in the air, the tension shifting as I glanced at Jessica, who offered a small, tentative smile. "Sure, sweetheart," she said, her voice softening. As we settled into the game, I couldn't shake off the feeling that we had only scratched the surface of something deeper. The blanket was gone, but the stories remained, waiting to be told. And as Sophie laughed, her joy enveloping us, I knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter, a story woven from the threads of our past and the promise of our future, a delicate balance between what was lost and what could still be found. I glanced at Jessica, a flicker of understanding passing between us, and as I took Sophie's hand, I felt the warmth of hope blooming within me. We weren't finished yet, not by a long shot, but perhaps, just perhaps, we were on the brink of uncovering a legacy that would bind us together, a legacy that would transcend the discarded blanket, leading us on a journey into the heart of our family story.
The moment I stepped into the living room, the absence of the blanket hit me like a cold draft, a whisper of betrayal that hung heavy in the air. I dropped my purse on the couch and scanned the room, my heart thudding in my chest. It was as if a piece of our family history had been ripped from its moorings, leaving behind a chasm I could almost feel. Sophie's blanket, the one I had lovingly knitted for her first birthday, was gone. I had poured my heart into every stitch, weaving together strands of love, hope, and memories. My gaze settled on Jessica, my daughter-in-law, who was standing at the window, her back to me. I could see her shoulders tense, as if she was holding on to something she didn't want to let go of. I had always thought of her as a practical woman, grounded in reality, but today she felt like a stranger. My fingers trembled slightly as I approached her, the weight of unspoken words pressing down on me. "Jessica, where's Sophie's blanket?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She turned slightly, her expression unreadable, but there was a flicker in her eyes, something that made my heart race. "I threw it out, Evelyn. It was time for it to go." "Time? What do you mean?" I felt a rush of heat rise to my cheeks, a mix of anger and disbelief. That blanket was a part of her childhood, a part of our family legacy. Jessica crossed her arms defensively, an instinctive gesture that made my stomach twist. "It was just a blanket, Evelyn. She's 10 now. She doesn't need it anymore." But it wasn't just a blanket. It was a reminder of the countless nights I spent rocking Sophie to sleep, wrapping her in warmth and love, whispering stories of her ancestors into the folds of that very fabric. I had hoped it would be something she cherished, a tangible piece of our family history that she could carry with her as she grew. Just a blanket? The words slipped out before I could stop them, sharp and accusatory. "You didn't think to ask me first? Or Sophie?" Jessica's mouth tightened, and I could see her jaw clench. "I didn't think it would be a big deal. We need to make space for new things, Evelyn. This isn't about you." I felt the sting of her words like a slap across my face. It wasn't just the blanket. It was everything beneath the surface. The subtle fractures in our family dynamics. The unspoken tensions that had been simmering for years. I had always tried to be nurturing, to welcome her into our family, but I felt like I was losing ground with every passing moment. "I just don't understand why you'd want to erase something so special." My voice trembled, betraying the fear that gripped me. What if this was just the beginning? What if she continued to discard pieces of our family history, bits of Sophie's identity? As I watched Jessica's face, I noticed the way her fingers twitched, a small but telling gesture that spoke volumes. There was something deeper at play, something she was holding back. I took a step closer, my heart pounding. "What's really going on here? Why did you throw it away?" For a moment, her eyes darted away, a fleeting moment of vulnerability I had rarely seen. "She just clutter," she insisted, but there was a tremor in her voice that contradicted her words. I couldn't let this go. My instincts screamed at me, urging me to dig deeper. "Is there something more? Something you're not telling me?" The air between us thickened, heavy with unsaid truths. I could feel the tension radiating from her, a palpable force that made my skin prickle. I had never been one to back down from a challenge, especially when it came to my family.
But in this moment, I was stepping into a minefield and I had no idea where each step might lead. Jessica shifted her weight, her gaze finally locking onto mine, fierce and defensive. "You don't understand my life, Evelyn. You see the blanket as love. I see it as a reminder of everything I'm trying to move past." I felt the ground beneath me shifted, a revelation that sent a chill through my bones. "What do you mean?" Her voice trembled, and I could see the conflict in her eyes. Fear, anger, and something else I couldn't quite place. I had my reasons for getting rid of it. It wasn't just a blanket to me.
The cryptic nature of her words sent my mind racing. What could possibly be hidden within those fibers that made her so adamant about discarding it? I thought of the times I had tried to reach out to her, to understand her struggles, but it was like trying to grasp water with my bare hands. "Jessica, please, I'm just trying to understand," I pleaded, my heart pounding in my chest. "If there's something more, something you're worried about, you can trust me." For a fleeting moment, I saw her guard slip, the vulnerability creeping in like the first light of dawn. But just as quickly, she recoiled, the walls re-establishing their fortress. "Trust is earned, Evelyn, not given," she snapped, her voice sharp as glass. The silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. I could feel the weight of the unspoken words pressing down on me, threatening to suffocate both of us. I longed to reach out and bridge the gap, to soothe the tension that had settled like a storm cloud, but uncertainty held me back. In that moment, I realized I was not just fighting for a blanket, I was fighting for the very essence of our family, for Sophie's understanding of who she was and where she came from. The blanket held secrets, yes, but it also held love, the kind that transcends generations, the kind that binds us together even when we're at odds. "Jessica, I know you're trying to protect Sophie, but we can't bury our past. It's who we are. If there's something that needs to be addressed, we have to face it together." Her expression softened for a brief moment, and I felt a flicker of hope. But just as quickly, her defenses shot back up. "You don't know what you're asking for," she replied, the edge creeping back into her voice. And in that moment, I understood that this was not just about the blanket. It was about the delicate web of our family, the secrets that wound through it like hidden threads. I was standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. Should I push further, risk breaking the fragile bond we had, or should I back down, hoping that one day the truth would surface on its own? As I stood there, my heart racing, I felt the weight of the decision pressing down on me like a heavy fog. Time seemed to stretch, each second a lifetime, as I searched Jessica's eyes for answers. But all I saw was uncertainty mirrored in her gaze. It was then that I realized that sometimes in the pursuit of understanding, we may uncover truths that are better left hidden. And as much as I wanted to protect my granddaughter's legacy, I also had to consider the delicate balance of our family ties. With every heartbeat, I felt the ground shift beneath me, the air thick with tension and possibility. The choice lay before me, heavy and daunting. I could either confront the truth or let it simmer beneath the surface, a secret that could either strengthen or fracture our family forever. And as I stood there, caught between the past and the future, I knew that whatever path I chose would lead me into uncharted territory, where love, betrayal, and the echoes of the past intertwined in a delicate dance. The next move was mine to make, and with it came the weight of every decision I had ever faced.
The moment I walked into the living room, my heart sank. The corners of the room felt too sharp, the air too thick with something unsaid. I spotted Jessica standing by the fireplace, her back to me, her posture rigid, as if she were warding off whatever storm I had brought with me. I had just come from the backyard, where I had searched fruitlessly for Sophie's beloved blanket, the one I had wrapped around her countless times, each thread imbued with memories of her laughter and her sweet, innocent dreams. My pulse quickened at the thought of what Jessica had done. "Where's Sophie's blanket?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. But the tremor betrayed me. I could feel it ripple through my hands, my fingers curling into fists at my sides, like leaves clenching against a fierce wind. Jessica turned slowly, her face a mask of indifference, but her eyes darted to the side, a telltale flicker that I had come to recognize. "I threw it away, Evelyn. It was old and stained. She's more than old fabric now, you know." Each word felt like a blow, a dull ache blooming in my chest. That blanket was a piece of our family history. It was comfort, it was love. "I'm trying to help her grow up, not cling to remnants of the past," she interrupted, her tone sharp enough to cut through the silence that hung between us. The room felt smaller as I took a step toward her, a wave of heat washing over me as anger wrestled with my sorrow. "You don't understand. It was more than just a blanket. It held memories, secrets. It was a way to bridge to her past, to her family." She rolled her eyes, a dismissive gesture that sent a shiver of frustration coursing through me. "Maybe you're the one who doesn't understand. Sophie needs to learn to let go, to move on. Clinging to these things only holds her back." I could feel my heart race, the warmth of my blood rushing to my cheeks as my emotions swirled like a tempest. "You think discarding her past is helping her? You think sweeping away her history will make her stronger? It's the stories, the love woven into those fibers that shape who we are, who she is becoming." "Maybe it's your stories that hold her back," Jessica shot back, her voice rising, laced with a bitter edge. "You're suffocating her with your memories and nostalgia. She needs to find her own identity, not live in the shadow of what you want her to be." I felt the weight of her words settle in my gut, heavy and cold like a stone dropped in still water, rippling outward. My breath quickened, a desperate attempt to steady myself. I wanted to scream, to shake her until she understood that family is built on memory and legacy, not just practicality or convenience. "Do you even know what was in that blanket?" I pressed, my voice dropping to a whisper. "There was a secret hidden in the stitches, something I've carried for years." Jessica tilted her head, curiosity flickering across her features. For a moment, the defensiveness slipped away, but just as quickly she recoiled, her brow furrowing as if I had spoken a foreign language. "What secret?" My heart raced as I weighed my options. Should I tell her? Would revealing this secret deepen our rift, or could it somehow bridge the chasm that had grown between us? I could feel a bead of sweat trickle down my back, an uncomfortable reminder of the stakes resting on this moment. "It's about your mother," I began, my voice trembling as I fought against the flood of memories. The blanket had pieces of her life sewn into it, her struggles, her joys, the things she never got to pass on to you. It was a way for her to connect with you even after she was gone. Jessica's expression hardened again, the curiosity replaced by something darker, a mask of defensiveness slipping back into place. "My mother was a complicated woman, Evelyn. You don't know everything. She had her reasons for the way she lived." "And you think throwing away a piece of her life is honoring her?" I felt the words slip out before I could hold them back, sharp and accusatory. "You're erasing her, Jess, not honoring her."
Her shoulders tensed, and I could see the muscles in her jaw clench. "You don't know what it was like for me. You only see your version of her. She was not the perfect mother you want to believe she was." The air crackled with tension, a palpable force that felt like a wall between us. I took a breath, summoning the courage to press on. "I don't see her as perfect, but she was your mother. The memories, the history, we can't just discard them. They're part of who you are, part of who Sophie is. We need to understand the past to navigate the complexities of our family." Jessica's eyes narrowed, a flicker of pain passing across her face before it hardened again. "And what if I don't want to navigate it?
What if I want to break free of this cycle of nostalgia and grief? I felt my heart constrict, the pressure building as I tried to hold on to the fragile thread of this conversation. You can't escape it. It's in your bones, Jess. You're running from it, and it's only going to hurt you and Sophie in the end. For a moment, we stood in silence, our breaths mingling, the weight of our unspoken truths hanging heavily in the air. I could feel my heart pounding in my ears, the rhythm echoing the uncertainty that lay before us. I wanted to reach out, to bridge the gap between us, but the distance felt insurmountable. Jessica's expression softened for the briefest moment, and I saw a flicker of vulnerability beneath her fierce exterior. "I just wanted to protect her," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, as if the admission had been dragged from her unwillingly. "Burdened?" I echoed, my heart aching for the daughter-in-law I had hoped to connect with. "It's not a burden, it's a legacy, one that deserves to be honored, not discarded. You're stronger than this, Jessica. Sophie deserves to know where she comes from, to understand the beauty and the pain that shapes our family." Tears glistened in Jessica's eyes, a storm brewing behind her defenses. For a moment, I thought she might break, that we could finally reach an understanding. But she blinked, and the wall returned, even stronger than before. "You don't know what you're asking me to do. You don't know the cost." As her words hung in the air, I felt a cold dread settle in my stomach. The secret I had carried for so long now teetered on the edge of revelation, and I could sense the delicate balance of our relationship shifting. I wanted to hold on to hope, but I could feel the ground beneath me shifting, each unturned stone revealing fissures in our family foundation. "Maybe I don't," I said softly, my heart aching for her, for Sophie, for the tangled web of our shared history. "But we can't move forward without addressing the past. Can't you see that?" Jessica turned away, her gaze fixed on the fireplace, where flickers of flame danced like the memories we both held so tightly. "I need time," she said finally, her voice barely a whisper, as if the admission had been dragged from her unwillingly. "I understand. Just know that I'm here whenever you're ready." I wanted to reach out, to offer her a lifeline, but I sensed her need for space, the invisible barrier that still held us apart. As I turned to leave, my heart heavy with unspoken words and unresolved feelings, I could feel the shadows of our past looming over us. I knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but I hoped beyond hope that we would find a way to navigate it together, one that would honor our family, our legacy, and the secrets woven into the fabric of our lives. But as I stepped out of the room, I couldn't shake the feeling that some doors, once closed, might never be reopened, and that the secrets hidden in that blanket might remain locked away forever beyond our grasp. I sat on the edge of my well-worn armchair, a piece of furniture that had borne witness to decades of laughter and tears. The fabric, faded yet familiar, wrapped around me like an old friend as I tried to collect my thoughts. Across the room, Jessica stood with her arms crossed, an impenetrable wall of defiance. I could see the tension radiating off her, and I felt it too, a tightness in my chest that made it hard to breathe. The blanket, my baby granddaughter Sophie's blanket, had been a cherished family heirloom, stitched with love and memories. When Jessica tossed it away as if it were nothing more than a piece of trash, it felt like she had ripped a piece of my heart out. The layers of fabric contained not just warmth, but stories, the whispers of our family history woven into every thread. It was more than a blanket. It was a symbol of our family's legacy. And now it was gone. I had spent the last few weeks digging through the wreckage of my emotions, grappling with the fear that Jessica might not understand the weight of what she had done. She was practical, a woman who saw things in black and white, and I often felt like a ghost in her world of clear lines. But what she didn't see was the color, the vibrant history that lived and breathed in the fibers of that blanket. I wanted to shake her, to scream until I was blue in the face, but all I could do was sit there,
my heart racing, my palms clammy against the fabric of my chair. "Evelyn, we need to talk about this," Jessica said, her voice steady yet edged with an undertone of annoyance. "It's just a blanket. Sophie has plenty of other things." I felt my fingers twitch as I fought the urge to reach for the old quilt that lay over the back of my chair, the one I had made for my late husband, Henry. It felt different, the weight of it pressing upon my shoulders as I thought of the memories it held. "It's not just a blanket, Jessica. It's a piece of our family," I replied, my voice thick with emotion. "It's about history, about belonging." "Belonging," she scoffed, shaking her head. "You mean your history. You're not the only one in this family, you know. Sophie has her own life, her own memories to make." Her words stung like a bee, sharp and unexpected. I could feel the warmth creeping up my neck, a flush of indignation that threatened to spill over. "And what do you think that history consists of, Jessica? Moments that we've shared together? The stories I've passed down? You can't just erase that." As the conversation swirled, I felt the heaviness of our past settling like a thick fog around us, obscuring the view of what could be. Just then, Sophie peeked her head around the corner, her wide eyes innocent and curious, as if she could sense the tension vibrating through the air. "Grandma, what's wrong?" she asked, her small voice slicing through the thick atmosphere. I smiled at her, though it felt brittle, like the surface of a cracked porcelain plate. "Nothing, sweetheart. Just a grown-up conversation." But my heart ached at the thought of her being caught in the crossfire of our family dispute. It wasn't her battle to fight, but I could see the worry etched on her face, the way her small hands fidgeted with the hem of her shirt, a telltale sign that she was absorbing the unease around her. "Can I help?" Sophie asked, her voice barely above a whisper, her eyes darting between Jessica and me. In that moment, I was reminded of how much she needed to feel safe, to feel like she belonged to both of us. And yet here we were, two adults caught in a storm of our own making. "Sweetheart," I said gently, kneeling down to her level, "you don't have to worry about this. Just know that your blanket was something special." I glanced at Jessica, hoping she would soften under the weight of Sophie's innocence, but I saw only resolve in her gaze. "I don't think Sophie needs to be wrapped up in your nostalgia," Jessica interjected, her voice clipped. "She's growing up, and keeping her tied to old things isn't helping her move forward." The words hung in the air, and I could feel the tension crackling, a live wire just waiting to spark. My heart pounded in my chest as I fought the urge to defend my memories, the ones that had shaped not just my life, but Sophie's as well. "But it's about connection, Jessica. The past is what shapes us. If we forget where we come from, how can we know where we're going?" Jessica's lips tightened into a thin line, the set of her jaw indicating she was prepared for a fight, yet I could see a flicker of uncertainty beneath her defiance. It was a chink in her armor, and I needed to exploit it, to bridge the gap between us. "I understand you want what's best for Sophie," I said softly, my voice almost a whisper. "But this isn't just about her, it's about all of us. It's about family." There was a moment of silence as the weight of my words settled between us. I could see her grappling with her thoughts, the micro-gestures of her brow furrowing and her fingers tapping against her arm betraying her inner conflict. "I just wanted to create a space for Sophie to grow," she finally said, her voice softening. "But maybe I went about it the wrong way." I took a breath, the air thick with possibility. "Maybe we can create that space together," I suggested, my heart racing at the thought of reconciliation. "Let's talk about the blanket. What if we work together to create something new with it? We can add to it, make it a living piece of our family history." Jessica looked at me, her expression shifting as she absorbed the idea. "You mean turn it into something we can all share?" she asked tentatively, as if testing the waters. It was a small step, but it felt monumental. "Yes," I said, my heart lifting as I saw the glimmer of hope in her eyes. "We can create a new legacy, one that honors the past while embracing the future. We can involve Sophie, let her choose what we add or how we'll preserve those memories together." Sophie's face brightened at the mention of her name, her eyes sparkling with excitement.
Can I help pick out the colors? She chirped, her innocent enthusiasm breaking through the layers of tension that had clung to us like a dark cloud. I nodded, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, I saw the potential for healing in our family. As we began to talk, the air around us started to shift, the fog lifting. There was still much to address, shadows of the past lingering just out of sight, but the warmth of connection began to seep back into the room, wrapping around us like a warm embrace. We shared ideas, laughed over memories, and with each passing moment, I felt the cracks in our relationship beginning to mend. Yet even as we moved forward, I couldn't shake the lingering question that danced at the back of my mind. What other secrets lay hidden, waiting to be unearthed beneath the surface of our conversations? And would we be ready to face them when the time came? The idea settled like a stone in my gut, heavy and uncertain, as I glanced at Jessica, her eyes reflecting a newfound vulnerability. It was a delicate balance we were walking, and I knew we were far from finished. But for now, as Sophie's laughter echoed around us and the warmth of our shared memories began to stitch us together, I felt a flicker of hope. In the tapestry of family, each thread held a story, and perhaps, just perhaps, we could weave a new narrative together, one that embraced the complexities of our past while forging a brighter future.
As I drove up the winding road to my mountain house, a sense of anticipation washed over me, mingled with a wave of tension that clenched my stomach. The pines whispered secrets as I passed, their needles brushing against one another in the gentle breeze, the scent of earth and sap filling the car. I had envisioned this moment for months, a chance to escape the clamor of my life, to wrap myself in solitude, to finally breathe. It was supposed to be my retreat, a sacred space where I could peel back the layers of my busy existence and reconnect with myself. But as I turned the final bend, the familiar outline of my quaint cabin came into view. My heart sank. The driveway was filled with cars, too many for a quiet weekend. My gut twisted, a visceral response that made me grip the steering wheel tighter, my knuckles turning white. What was meant to be a personal sanctuary had become a bustling hub of family. I parked, the gravel crunching beneath my tires, and took a deep breath. The air was crisp, but it felt thick with the weight of expectation. I stepped out of the car, the chill biting at my cheeks, and heard laughter drifting from the porch. It was a sound I loved to hear, yet it felt foreign, intrusive. I hesitated, staring at the cabin that had always felt like mine, the place where I had spent countless hours reading, writing, and simply being. Now, it felt like an invasion. I could see Jake, my son, his broad shoulders and easy smile bringing a wave of warmth to my heart. But alongside him was Emily, my daughter-in-law, and then her parents, Bob and Linda, their presence like an unexpected storm cloud darkening my mood. "Mom, you're here!" Jake's voice rang out cheerful and bright, but it echoed in my head like a bell tolling a warning. I plastered on a smile, though it felt heavy on my lips, and stepped onto the porch. The warmth of their gathering wrapped around me, but it was suffocating rather than comforting. "Surprise!" chimed Emily, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "We thought we'd spend the weekend together. We missed you." I forced my smile wider, but inside I felt like a fish out of water, floundering in an ocean of expectations. "I wasn't expecting anyone," I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. "I thought I'd come up here to relax a bit." "Oh, we can relax together," she gushed, stepping closer, her hands clasped in front of her. "It'll be fun, just like old times." Old times. The phrase hung in the air, heavy with nostalgia and a dash of resentment. I had spent years nurturing my family, bending my life around their needs, and now, as I stood on the brink of this new chapter in my life, I felt a pang of loss for the solitude I had longed for. My heart raced, a drumbeat of conflicting emotions. I wanted to embrace them, to be part of this joyful reunion, yet I also longed to retreat, to find that quiet corner of the world where I could once again hear my own thoughts.
Bob and Linda approached, their smiles wide and welcoming. "Sarah, it's so good to see you," Bob boomed, enveloping me in a bear hug that nearly knocked the breath from my lungs. I smiled weakly, feeling the warmth of his embrace, but also the pressure of expectations pressing down on me like a heavy blanket. Linda chimed in, her voice soft but insistent. "We brought all the fixings for a big family dinner. We thought we could have a nice evening together, just like we used to." My chest tightened. Just like we used to. The phrase echoed in my mind, replaying a familiar melody that once brought me comfort, but now felt like a reminder of how much had changed. I was no longer that woman, the one who thrived in the chaos of family life. I craved peace, a retreat from the noise, and here they were, filling my sanctuary with their laughter and chatter. As the evening wore on, the tensions simmered beneath the surface. Jake and Emily seemed to move effortlessly in their roles as hosts, pouring wine, arranging food, and sharing stories. I watched them, a smile plastered on my face, but inside I felt like a fish out of water, floundering in an ocean of expectations. I excused myself, claiming I needed to check on something in the kitchen. The moment I stepped away, I felt the weight of my solitude settling in. The familiar smells of sauté and garlic and spices filled the air, but it did little to soothe the restless energy thrumming in my veins. I leaned against the counter, feeling the coolness of the granite beneath my palm, and closed my eyes.
Why can't I just let go? I whispered to myself, the words barely escaping my lips. The truth was, I didn't want to let go completely. I loved them. I loved my family. But I was also desperate for space, for a chance to breathe without the shadows of obligation looming over me. That's when I felt a presence behind me. I turned to find Jake standing there, a look of concern etched on his face. "Mom, you okay?" he asked, his voice low and gentle. I forced a smile, but it trembled, revealing the cracks in my facade. "Just taking a moment." He stepped closer, hands tucked into his pockets, a gesture that mirrored my own uncertainty. "I know this wasn't what you expected. We wanted to surprise you, to bring everyone together. I thought you'd be happy." "I am happy," I responded, the words slipping out before I could think them through. "I just need some time to adjust. I thought I'd have the place to myself." Jake nodded, understanding flickering in his eyes. "I get it. It's been a lot. But, it's okay to want your space. We're all trying to figure this out too." His words hung in the air, and for the first time that evening, I felt a tiny thread of connection weave itself between us. I could see his struggle reflected in my own, the tug of war between family love and personal needs. "I just don't want to feel like I'm imposing," I said softly, my voice barely above a whisper. "You all have your own lives now." "Mom, you're not imposing," he said firmly, stepping closer, the warmth of his presence grounding me. "You're family, and family means everything." In that moment, something shifted within me, like the gentle release of a tight string finally letting go. Maybe my idea of relaxation didn't have to be rooted in solitude. Perhaps true relaxation, the kind that allowed for growth and understanding, came from embracing the complexities of family relationships, acknowledging the discomfort, the love, and the need for open dialogue. "Maybe we all need to talk about this," I said, my voice steadier now. "I want to understand how we can make this work. I don't want to lose you, or Emily, or any of this." Jake's smile widened, a spark of hope igniting in his eyes. "That's the first step, Mom. Let's figure it out together." And just like that, I felt a crack in the wall I had built around myself.
The fear of intrusion began to dissolve, replaced with a glimmer of belonging. I wasn't just a spectator in their lives. I was a part of them, and they were a part of me. As we turned to head back into the room, I felt lighter, the weight of my solitude lifting. Yet just as the warmth began to spread through me, I caught sight of Emily through the window, her face taut with uncertainty as she glanced at her parents. I could see the flicker of tension, the undercurrents of emotion that had been simmering all evening, threatening to boil over. Maybe this was just the beginning, a dawning realization that while I might have wanted solitude, what I truly needed was to navigate this intricate dance of family, one that required patience, communication, and the courage to embrace the messiness of love. I took a deep breath, ready to step back into the fray, uncertain of what lay ahead, but willing to face it, one conversation at a time.
The moment I stepped into Jessica's living room, I could feel a tension so thick it curled in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. My heart raced, the familiar flutter of anxiety settling in the pit of my stomach, reminding me that confrontation was never my strong suit. I had always preferred the gentle art of nurturing over the jagged edges of conflict. Yet here I stood, fists clenched at my sides, ready to confront the woman who had just thrown away my granddaughter's blanket. The very blanket I had stitched with care, filled with memories and secrets that ran deeper than the fabric itself. "Jessica," I began, forcing my voice to remain steady, though I could feel it quivering like a leaf in the wind. She looked up from the couch where she had been folding laundry, her brow furrowing slightly as she registered my presence. I could see the change in her demeanor. Her jaw tightened, her lips pressed into a thin line. The air felt electric, thick with unspoken words. "Hi, Evelyn. What brings you here?" she replied, her tone neutral, but her gaze darted to the garbage can in the corner of the room. I followed her glance, my stomach sinking deeper. The outline of the blanket was still visible beneath the crumpled trash bag, a ghost of its former self. "I need to talk to you about Sophie's blanket," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, as though speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile facade of our pleasantries. Jessica crossed her arms, her body language shifting into defense mode. "I thought we agreed it was just an old thing taking up space. She doesn't even use it anymore." "It doesn't matter if she uses it or not." I felt the heat rise in my cheeks, my heart thumping louder in my ears. That blanket is a part of our family history. It holds memories, secrets. It's something I wanted Sophie to have. Jessica's eyes narrowed, and for a moment I saw a flash of something deeper, perhaps guilt or maybe frustration. "You mean your memories," she corrected, her voice sharper now. "Not every family heirloom is worth keeping, Evelyn. We need to make space for the future." My breath hitched at her words, the sting of her dismissal washing over me like cold water. I remembered the day I had finished that blanket, the way I had held it up to the light, admiring the intricate patterns of love and loss woven into every stitch. It was a tapestry of my life, stories of my late husband, the laughter of my children, and now the innocence of little Sophie. "I think what you see is just fabric I see as a connection," I said, my voice trembling as I fought against the wave of emotion rising within me. "Every stitch tells a story, and it's not just mine, it's ours. It's Sophie's future." Jessica's face hardened, and I could see the walls she had built around herself grow higher. "Why does everything have to be about the past, Evelyn? We can't live in it forever." The air grew heavy between us, a chasm of misunderstanding that felt insurmountable. I could sense the weight of my own past pressing down on me, the memories of my late husband, and the years spent preserving our family's legacy. I had always believed that understanding our history was essential for navigating the complexities of who we were. But perhaps Jessica had a point. Perhaps she was trying to forge her own path, separate from the shadow of my history. Yet still my heart ached for Sophie, for the little girl who didn't yet understand the implications of her blanket being discarded like yesterday's news. "Do you think Sophie understands what that blanket meant to us?" I asked, my voice softer now, pleading for a crack in her fortress. Jessica's eyes softened momentarily, and I clung to that flicker of vulnerability. "She might not, but
She also doesn't need to be burdened with it, she replied, her tone wavering. I just want to protect her from the weight of our past. Protecting her means giving her the tools to understand where she comes from, I insisted, feeling the heat of frustration flare again. You can't just erase our history because it's inconvenient. Her expression hardened once more, and I could almost hear the gears turning in her mind. Maybe you're the one who needs to let go, Evelyn. Sometimes holding on to the past can be just as damaging as discarding it. I stood there, speechless for a moment, the reality of her words settling in my bones like a chill. Was I holding on too tightly? Could my love for our family history be suffocating rather than nurturing? I thought of Sophie's bright eyes, her innocent curiosity, and how I wanted her to learn about the past without feeling trapped by it. But the thought of that blanket, its stories lost forever, felt like a betrayal not just to me, but to the family I had built. You don't understand, I murmured, my breath shaky. That blanket was more than fabric. It was a promise to keep our family connected. Jessica's shoulders slumped slightly, and for a fleeting moment, I thought I saw a flicker of understanding in her eyes, but it vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Maybe I don't understand, she said, softly, her voice now tinged with a hint of regret. But I do know that I have to protect my daughter from the weight of expectations, from the burden of our history.
As I stood there, the distance between us palpable, I felt the ground beneath me shift. I realized this wasn't just about a blanket. It was about the very fabric of our family, the delicate threads that held us together. Jessica, I said, my voice breaking, I'm not trying to impose my past on Sophie. I just want her to have the choice to embrace it, to learn from it. Isn't that what family is all about? Tears pricked at my eyes, and I blinked them away, not wanting to show her the depth of my hurt. I watched as Jessica's defenses began to fracture, her arms uncrossing slightly, the tension in her shoulders easing just a bit. I know you want the best for her, I continued, my voice steadier now, but the best doesn't mean erasing our history. It means learning from it, growing from it. You and I, we're part of this story too. Jessica looked away, her gaze drifting towards the window, where the sunlight streamed in, casting warmth across the room. I felt a flicker of hope igniting in my chest, a small flame that urged me to keep going. Let's sit down together, I suggested, my heart pounding with the possibility of connection. Let's talk about what that blanket means, not just to me, but to both of us and to Sophie. Let's find a way to honor our past without letting it consume us. She hesitated, her brow furrowing as she considered my words. I could see the war waging within her, the struggle between her desire to protect her daughter and the pull of familial ties that had been frayed but not broken. And in that moment, I realized that perhaps the secret hidden within that blanket wasn't just about the fabric itself, but about the deeper truths we all carried, truths that could either draw us closer or tear us apart. I took a step closer, my heart racing with the urgency of the moment. Jessica, I said softly, can we find a way to weave our stories together instead of tearing them apart? She turned to me, and for the first time, I saw a glimmer of hope in her eyes, a flicker of understanding that maybe we could navigate this tangled web together. But just as I thought we were on the brink of a breakthrough, her phone buzzed on the coffee table, breaking the moment. She glanced down, her face falling as she read the message. She started, but I could see the decision forming in her mind, the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders once more. And just like that, the moment slipped through my fingers, leaving me standing there, heart racing, wondering if I would ever truly understand the secrets hidden in that blanket, or if they would remain buried, just out of reach, forever altering the fabric of our family. The moment I found out that Jessica had thrown away Sophie's blanket, a wave of nausea washed over me. The air in the room felt thick, almost suffocating, as if the walls themselves were closing in, squeezing out the last remnants of reason. I could still see Sophie's innocent face lighting up every time she wrapped herself in that soft, worn fabric. The way her tiny fingers would trace the stitching, the little blue stars that danced against the pale backdrop. That blanket was more than just a piece of cloth. It was a tapestry woven from the threads of our family's history, a token from my late husband, George, who had chosen it for Sophie's nursery. I had spent years keeping it safe, a bulwark against the storms of life. Now it was gone, just like that. "Jessica, why would you do that?" I had asked, the words slipping out in a near whisper, but I could feel the tremor in my voice, the way my heart raced like a frightened rabbit. She stood there, arms crossed, a fortress of practicality, her dark hair pulled back tightly, as if she could keep secrets at bay with a simple hairstyle. "It was old, Evelyn. It was just taking up space," she replied, her voice clipped, defensive. I could see the slight twitch of her jaw, a micro gesture that revealed her discomfort. She'd always been like this, practical to a fault, convinced that sentimentality was a weakness. But what did she know of the weight of history, of love stitched into every thread? I felt my fingers tightening into fists at my sides, nails digging into my palms as I battled the rising tide of anger and despair. "It wasn't just old, it was important," I snapped, the words escaping me before I could rein them in. "Do you have any idea what it meant to Sophie? To me?" Her eyes narrowed, and I could see the walls she had built around herself growing taller. "We thought we were moving forward, Evelyn, not clinging to the past." Her words struck like a heavy stone, sinking deep into my chest. Moving forward. What did that even mean? I had spent my life navigating the complexities of family dynamics, preserving our legacy, while she seemed determined to erase it all. And yet, in that moment of confrontation, I felt a flicker of something else. Fear. Fear of losing not only the blanket, but Sophie's connection to us, to our family's history, the very essence of who we were. That night, sleep eluded me. I lay in bed, the darkness wrapping around me like a shroud, each creak of the house a reminder of my solitude. I could hear the distant echoes of Sophie's laughter, the way she had danced around the living room with that blanket wrapped around her like a cape, a superhero in her own right. I could see her eyes sparkling with imagination, and I wondered, what secrets had that blanket held? In my heart, I knew it was more than just a piece of cloth. It had been a comfort during sleepless nights, a shield against the world's harshness. And now it was gone. But what if there was more to it than that? What if there were hidden threads within its fibers, secrets woven into its very fabric? The next morning, I woke with a sense of urgency pulsing through me. I had to find out what was hidden in that blanket. I couldn't let it slip away without trying to uncover its mysteries. As I walked through the house, I felt an odd sense of purpose. The sun streamed through the kitchen window, casting golden rays that danced across the floor, illuminating the dust motes swirling in the air. My hands trembled slightly as I brewed a cup of coffee, the familiar scent grounding me. I decided to confront Jessica again, but this time I would approach it differently. I would ask her about the blanket, not in anger, but from a place of understanding. Maybe, just maybe, there was something she hadn't shared, something that led her to discard not just a blanket, but a piece of our family legacy. Later that afternoon, I found her in the backyard, pulling weeds from the flower bed. The sun beat down on her, and I could see the beads of sweat glistening on her forehead. I hesitated,
watching her for a moment, the tension in my chest tightening. I had to choose my words carefully. This was my daughter-in-law, after all, the mother of my beloved granddaughter. "Jessica," I started, my voice softer this time, "can we talk about the blanket?" She straightened up, brushing dirt from her hands, her expression guarded. "I thought we were done with that discussion." "I know," I replied, willing my heart to steady, "but I can't help but feel there's more to it. Why did you really throw it away?" She turned away, her posture rigid. "It was just a blanket, Evelyn. It's not worth this fight."
"But it is worth something to Sophie and to me," I pressed, stepping closer, trying to bridge the chasm that had formed between us. "I've been thinking about what it represents, our family, our memories. There might be something we don't even realize is important." For a long moment, silence enveloped us. I could hear the distant chirping of birds, the rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze. I studied her face, searching for a crack in her armor, a glimpse of the vulnerability I suspected lay beneath. Finally, she sighed, her shoulders slumping slightly. "You don't understand. It was just an old blanket, Evelyn, but it carried so much weight. My mother used to have one just like it, and it was a constant reminder of what I never had." I felt a jolt of realization. The blanket had been a conduit of memories, a reminder of both comfort and loss. "You're afraid of losing something that wasn't even yours to keep," I said gently, my own heart aching for her. "But what if we could share that burden together?" Jessica looked at me then, and for the briefest moment, I saw her defenses falter, like a curtain pulled back to reveal a flickering flame. I didn't want Sophie to feel the same emptiness I did. I thought if I got rid of it, she wouldn't have to carry that weight. In that moment, I realized the blanket wasn't just a relic of the past. It was a mirror reflecting our fears, our scars, and our hopes. I stepped closer, reaching out to her, trying to bridge the gap, to weave a new strand into the fabric of our family dynamic. "Maybe we can find a way to honor both our experiences," I suggested, my voice steady but soft. "What if we create something new together, something that carries both our histories, that allows Sophie to hold on to the loving memories while also moving forward?" The tension in her shoulders seemed to ease, and I could see the flicker of hope in her eyes, the possibility of reconciliation starting to bloom. But before she could respond, a curious voice broke through the air. "Grandma? Mom?" It was Sophie, her small figure appearing at the edge of the garden, clutching a tattered stuffed animal. "What are you talking about?" In that moment, I knew we were standing at a crossroads, a chance to redefine our family narrative. But the path ahead was still uncertain, shrouded in the shadows of our past, and I could feel the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air. I glanced at Jessica, the question burning in my mind. Would we be able to untangle the threads of our legacies? Or would the secrets of the past continue to haunt us? As I looked at my granddaughter, the innocent spark of curiosity in her eyes, I realized we had only just begun to unravel this mystery together.